Shadows show, where me and Dark Knight of Hibernia managed to keep him on an hour after he normally would have canceled the show. And now I'm doing a show for a little bit. My wifey poo is going to get her hair did.
Well, I'm not naked anymore, which is nice.
Hey, I'm streaming.
But
I'm streaming. But I agree or disagree. I agree to disagree. And one of my anniversary, maybe my only anniversary, I don't know how many she got me, but Snake Men from Ghost Archipelago showed up. And I'm super stoked. Like, super stoked. Even though I am only using these to kit bash. Because I have so many of the Nagara from Reaper that are that really soft, kind of crappy plastic. And I don't like the weapon selections and everything. So I'm thinking, bear with me here for a moment. I'm thinking it might actually be easier to go ahead and just clip the torsos off the Nagara and then go ahead and build them with these parts. That is my thought. Now, because I have squirrel, heyo, see, I've got all these Nagaras here that are all just kind of hanging out. I can take a hobby knife with a razor sharp blade on it because I just put it on it. And this is that real soft plastic anyway. So here we go, guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Hi, Captain. All right, a nice cut. Look at that. A nice cut. So now what I have is this serpent bottom, right? And then I have sprues upon sprues of serpent torsos, some armored, some not, shields, all kinds of cool weapons that are specifically serpentmen weapons. I could even throw like a cloak on these guys. Like I said, some of them are pretty heavily armored. And I like that a lot better for my Hyperborean serpent men. I want one of them to look like a wizard. So one of them's got to have a staff or a wand or something. I might give one of them a laser pistol just for the what's and what's, right? Because, like I said, this is Hyperborea. We do weird shit in Hyperborea, right? I can give them two-handed weapons. You get the idea. I can do whatever the hell I want with these guys. So the first thing I will have to do, though, is I'm going to have to cut the torso down so that it will somewhat fit on the serpent body. And I'm not too super like whatever because green stuff fixes about everything. If you know what you're doing, right? So let's go ahead and break the cardinal rule of using a knife and cut directly towards me. Guys, don't do this at home. This is some hillbilly shit right here. Thank you, Squirrel. And the link to this chat is up there. I know you're probably busy, but you're always welcome. You know that. My Ohioan friend. Okay, so let's get this even as we can. Just little shaves, right? Okay, and then we'll see about joining them together. And look at that shit. They join together pretty damn good, even without the green stuff. So now I'm going to take my drill bit. I don't know what size drill bit this is, but it's the size that goes with those copper tubes or brass rod, whatever it is. And I'm going to pin him because, does it need to be pinned? No, probably not. But I'm going to do it anyway. Because that's how I roll, man. It's not going to be pinned like half an inch deep on either side or anything. I'm just going to put a little bit of a rod in there. Just something to keep them together. Right? And then I'm going to put some green stuff on it. Which I had some. Oh, I used it, though. I decided to try something out. Let's see what you guys think about it. Where is he? He's right here. You can see that I've swapped out his hand for an orc hand, and I've already drilled it to put a weapon in it. But I had a bunch of green stuff left over, and I just kind of made him, something to cover his butt. Since these guys are all running around with their butts just hanging out. And I think when that's painted up, that's going to look actually pretty darn good. It might make me consider, Big James, how you doing, brother? It might actually make me consider just making a shit ton of flat green stuff and giving them all like crude, like cloth things to cover their butts. Because, the blendies I bought were basically completely savage blendies. They had no weapons. They're just running around doing whatever blendy do. But the blendies I've made, they're civilized. They wear armor. They got pants. They use weapons. So, for some reason, Restream won't let me play music. I was going to put on Nozara, listen to some 80s Soviet post-punk, but for some reason, freaking Restream won't let me do it. Pisses me off. Heavy sky above my, yeah, a little bit. So this guy, and here's another cool thing. The serpent men that come in this pack, they come with like some really cool weapons. Not just really cool for them, but really cool weapons, So they're really unique looking. And again, when we're doing Hyperborea stuff, you want it to be as far away from vanilla as possible. You really want it to look weird. That's why I've busted out my Dark Elf and High Elf figures that I've had laying around for years. I've got them right here. I've got some High Elf Phoenix guards, and I've got some Dark Elf executioners, right? And I'm going to figure out a way to use those helmets on some figures because Hyperboreans, a lot of times in the art, they're wearing these really tall, pointy helmets. And the only place I've been able to source that has been from these Warhammer elves. So, and I don't much care for the High Elf helmets. I think I will end up going with the Dark Elf helmets. And really, they don't need much. You can't see ears or anything. So if I throw these on a really tall guy, they're going to fit, and make him look even taller. Because all the art I've been able to see, I think the really tall peaked helmets is specifically a Hyperborean thing. Oh, and I finally got one of these guys ready to be painted. And I gave him 2 Dark Elf single-bladed swords. So I've got one more to make. And now that I've made 4 of them, like the 4th one I made was really easy. I've kind of figured it out now. how to slap those things together. So got the rod in the bottom, and then we're going to cut it down and put the top on. Right? You put the lime in the coconut, drink them all up. About to work on my accounting degree coursework. Nice. Troy, good luck on that. Not the easiest degree, but you can make a lot of money doing it. And, you know, my sister-in-law is a CPA, so I don't know. That's the same thing, right? But anyway, always a pleasure. And in case you're wondering what I'm doing, I am cutting the snake part of Old Bones Nagara, and I am putting the upper torso of Snake Men from Ghost Archipelago on to make them a little bit more, you know. I don't know why they gave their Snake Men legs. Maybe it's just easier to mold them that way. But serpent men, like lizard men, should have legs, but serpent men should not have legs, I don't think. Even though you could get away with it in Hyperborea because the serpent men are always making like weird hybrid creatures. So the idea of, you know, a half snake, half human slave race running around would be 100% absolutely acceptable in every way, you know. Because Hyperborean serpent men are scientists first and foremost. That's like their whole deal, science. And so, you know, trying to come up with diseases that only affect mammals and take over towns. And well, right here is the first loose fitting of a Ghost Archipelago torso on the snakes thing. I've got a rod in there. I've got a ton of green stuff. And right now I'm just seeding it and pushing the green stuff out. And I'll just use the knife to shave the green stuff off. And like I said, this way, I can make, you know, a wizard, a shaman, a cleric. You know, I can arm them up appropriately for what they are, you know. 90% of the Nagara I bought, which I bought about 20 of them because they're very cheap from Reaper, are just dudes with like pole arms and stuff, and that's cool and all, but nah, I want some serpent men that are gonna look like, you know, a threat, you know, that are gonna look like, oh shit. And the side hustle of this is these will be 100% usable with centaur snake. These will be 100% usable with Call of Cthulhu as well. Serpent men feature heavily in some Lovecraft adventures and heavily in some Robert E. Howard adventures. So, yeah. So now, the song is gone. I get the blade of the knife wet so that the green stuff doesn't stick and just kind of smooth it down. Some people actually use Vaseline, but I just spit on it. But yeah. There's a little bit of a gap right here. And like I said, just take a little green stuff. I've got some Tamiya putty too, but I'm just more comfortable with the green stuff. Yes, I'm actually putting a little bit of spit on the blade of this knife. I could dunk it, I guess, in my paint jar, but you know. So how is that sitting? Is that sitting pretty good? We won't know until we put a head on. And that's where this is going to be way more of an improvement, because the heads that the Nagara come with are just lame looking. But the heads that come with the Serpent Men, some of them have helmets. Some of them are open, like they're getting ready to strike. You know, so all in all, just an upgrade. Just super upgrade. With 2 Ds for a double dose of that pimp action. So let's go ahead. Go ahead. Put the head on. Yeah. Put a little super glue in there. I could honestly be using my Tamiya Ultra Thin, really. That would probably be better, but yeah, because the super glue wants to stick to everything but whatever you're trying to glue, you know? It just be like that. Okay. So, without the arms, this is what my new Serpent Men are basically looking like. And this guy is, of course, he's got armor on. He's got a little armor thing up here, like a helmet, but for a snake. And I can choose all kinds of weapon loadouts for him. Just whatever I want, you know. It's all the snake is my oyster. I mean, I got some great weapons. I got some spears, shields. The shields are pretty cool. So got a couple of bows. I don't know what that is. Is that looks like a mace? I think I'm going to give him this mace looking item, and he can be like a cleric snake, devoted to his deity Yig. Yeah. And since he's going to have that clerical weapon, then we need to give him a shield. So this should be pretty easy, right? Spears are one of my favorite, but since this guy's a cleric snake, actually in Hyperborea, I'm pretty sure clerics might even be able to use spears. They can use, I mean, the weapons they're allowed are like a lot of, just not like D&D at all. Let's just say that. Like every class has access to a lot more different weapons, except for the fighter. The fighter has access to all weapons, but is the only class that can actually master weapons. And quite possibly double master weapons, which gives you +2/+2 with that particular type of weapon. So yeah. What it means is if you're not wearing really, really good armor, your chances of being hit in a round of combat are pretty good. I don't know. He might not. Yeah, Yig might be like, use whatever you want, Holmes. But this is mostly so I can tell him apart. You know what I mean? All right. And they've got shoulder pauldrons to go with their armor. That's nice. And now instead of super glue, I'm actually using my Tamiya. It actually holds things quicker than super glue. I don't know if it holds them better, but it does hold them quicker. So weld those little bastards together. Okay, come on now. Make a liar out of me. All right. All right, so here we go. He's got the mace thing in one hand and the shield arm ready in the other hand, and he is ready to be painted up. Look at that. That is way better. Way better. And so easy to do. Just so easy to do. And then once he's painted up, I'm going to paint his armor bronze or enchanted metal or something. And it'll, you know, like I said, a big part of Hyperborea is just making stuff look not quite right. That's like a huge part of it, you know. So, you know, metal and stuff like that. You just want it to be just a little off. Like, so when I describe certain things to the players, if they're made out of metal, I will describe the metal as being like having a bluish tinge or something like that. When I describe stone, sometimes I'll describe it as being like a greenish blue soapstone color, you know. And, you know, another thing I like to drop on them is they'll find something that's made out of metal, but it'll be some kind of metal they've never encountered before. You know, like, so that keeps them in the knowledge that yes, this is not this is not your standard D&D world. Basically, this is a totally different place, you know. A lot of the people I talk to when I talk about Hyperborea, yeah, they do seem to think that Hyperborea is basically just another kind of D&D. It really isn't. You know, the way it plays, the monsters and stuff like that. While it is built on the bones of D&D, the actual attitude of the game is very different. Very different, you know. I would not suggest Hyperborea to people who want to play Lord of the Rings style heroic campaigns. I really wouldn't. And I'm not saying you can't do that. You absolutely can do that. But just the nature of the world itself is such that you could find yourself in a group with somebody who worships a hairy frog god or toad god. You know, it's just like that, you know. I guess though, if like all the players got together and decided, they could all like make a whole party of people who worship like Apollo, maybe have a cleric, you know, of Apollo or Athena there. Here, you could play a Christian. I just don't know how that would work out. But you could 100% play a Varangian, and now you're Hyperborea as an I think that would cause a little bit of static in a group if you had the one guy in the group. It's almost like the paladin problem, you know, because if you had a guy who was a Varangian and he gets shot through time and space to Hyperborea, the chances of him wanting to group up and go adventuring with like people who worship any of the great old ones is probably slim to none, right? I would say. And then imagine if you have a character who's like from the Renaissance period and he's kind of like agnostic or atheist, and then he shows up on Hyperborea and where some of the gods actually walk amongst men and shit like that. That would be a wild one too. You know, that'd be like, all right, how are we going to handle that? Super glue and PVA. Yeah, sometimes not for miniatures. I use the super glue and baking powder, baking soda trick. But so when it comes to like theological issues, there could be many theological issues in your Hyperborea game if players wanted to go that route. I personally, I don't know how that would work out, if it would be a good idea. I mean, we've already got issues between the priests of Tasagua and the mage that worships the ashen worm. Okay. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and then I just mold that green stuff around, make it look like it's all supposed to be there. That poor Shadow. Me and Dark Hibernian, we were just going off today. Okay. It's good to see my little homie, little Irish homie. I wonder where my damn brother is. That's what I wonder. Where is my brother? He should 100% be here. So yeah, I've got to put 2 more swords on Scorpion then. Well, there's Tim. Let's see if we can get him in here. See what he's got to say about life.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, yesterday went pretty well.
Oh yeah, which game?
Bubbles game.
Nice.
We went, killed a few dragon men, and ran away from the archers because they were just flying over a pit that we couldn't really none of the other players could do much about. And
Right.
I cannot 1v10 a bunch of archers.
Well, you need to work on that.
I was doing pretty good, the first 2 volleys they attacked me and missed every time.
All right.
I mean, that's pretty good, right?
Right.
It's like, just have 20 arrows miss you.
It's like, get good.
Yeah. Then they just started, like, getting one or two hits, and I started feeling a little hurt.
Yeah.
I was
You
down
were
to
like, hold on a minute.
I went down to like 6 HP, and I was like, yeah, this might not be the best thing. Our dwarf went down for a little bit, but I healed him back up. Had to burn a cure critical wounds scroll though.
All right. Well,
But
it sucks, but then again, I mean, you got to do it. You can't let the dwarf die. I mean, that's not cool.
Yeah, he went from 0 to 26 health off of that.
Yeah.
And then we went south and headed into a teleporter room, in which then we have to fight. I'm not exactly sure what they are, like some kind of salt monster.
You know, I've been playing this game called Escape from the Dark Castle.
Yeah.
And there's an encounter in that game that I'm seriously thinking about throwing on my group at some point. And basically, there's this magic mirror. And when you walk into the room to see the magic mirror, it creates a clone of each player character, and you have to fight it.
Ah.
And no one can help you until they've killed their clone. And in the actual card game, that, card/board game, that is a tough fight every time. It's like every time it's like, geez, because you're fighting yourself,
Fair
right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a fun fight for me. I mean, basically,
so I'm kind of wondering, like
does it replicate you perfectly, or
it is you?
So it would have gear similar to what you have, right?
It is 100% you.
Okay, yeah, that would be a very difficult and boring fight for me because my character would be missing, and the bot would probably be missing half the time too. It would just be us like trying to whittle each other down with our weapon. Because we don't, I don't hit hard either.
Yeah,
like,
but
most of my
the problem
damage
is, you got to
6,
understand, the
9 or
problem
something like
is
that.
because you're trapped in combat with you can't help any of your group mates.
I know that would. I'm just saying that would suck for
So
me.
all the you has to do is keep you up and fighting, and then the dwarf could get his ass completely whipped by himself.
I know.
Without you even being able to do any damn thing about it.
It's like that would suck. I would not be. I'd be more of a hindrance to my party than a help.
Yeah.
Just because how my character's built.
Yeah. Just because you wouldn't actually be able to hurt yourself. Exactly. That's a rough encounter, man. And yeah, I've ran into it a couple times in Escape from the Dark Castle, and it's always a pure pain in the ass. Like, it's never easy. It's always like, geez, I'm sitting here playing a tailor or something and just getting my ass whipped by myself.
Why can't we just swap enemies so we could fight somebody else?
Because you can't. You can't. That's how the whole magic thing works. You have to fight yourself. But once you've defeated yourself, you can help your friends. So hopefully if the good guys win the initiative, like the mage just dusts his counterpart.
Yeah.
And then he could start helping everyone else. Otherwise, that shit is going to be bad. That's just not going to be happy times at all.
I also have another issue. I should have kept the create water spell. But then again, I didn't know I was going to have to fight salt monsters.
Just throw a slug at them. So, because my man Squirrel Hermit said so, I don't even know if he's still here. The second one I'm building, Mr. Hermit, has a spear. You got a big wavy ass spear, and I'm getting ready to put his shield on, and then he will also be good to go. I mean, I got to paint these guys, obviously, but it's not a big deal. Let's make sure I got the shield on right. I do. So there he is. I need to put a head on him. I'm going to figure out which head is like the most vicious looking. Oh, this head's got like armor.
Yeah, Squirrel Hermit's still here.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like this head. It's got like a spiked collar around it. It's got its mouth wide open like it's getting ready to bite somebody. I mean, that's one thing with serpent men too, is they do have a venomous bite.
Huh.
So if you fight with them, it's not just the weapons and the spells, because a lot of them tend to be spellcasters. You know, they do have a venomous bite as well. So there's the profile.
Nice. That's cool.
Right. Yep. He is
James,
ready to rock.
that makes me think of something. Soon enough, soon my cousin's gonna, or not my cousin, my nephew is going to have his little birthday party. We're gonna have a barbecue, cookout on the grill, and I'm getting him a gift of a toy car of a 1970s Dodge Challenger.
Nice.
He likes cars.
Well, I mean, who doesn't love the 1970s Challenger, though? So let me see here. I'm going to give this guy.
I don't know. My dad might not.
Well, I'm sure he's cool in other ways.
He's more in favor of the Roadrunner.
Well, the Roadrunner was a nice car. What was that? Pontiac, right?
Yeah, that's another Pontiac.
Yeah, that's a good car.
So it's another Canadian car.
Oh.
Because Pontiac is a Canadian company. That's why the Trans Am, that's why the Trans Am, being the quintessential American muscle car, is actually Canadian.
Yeah, well, they made the Grand too, so I mean, we should be thankful for both.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
I gotta say though, the Trans Am is my favorite muscle car.
My favorite muscle car is probably GTO.
Okay.
Yeah, the GTO was such a badass back in the day, like late 60s, I think. GTOs.
Well,
But I mean, I'm not saying the one you said was a bad car, because it's definitely not.
No. That's one, if I could find it in any good condition for a decent price, I'd probably buy if I could.
Well, I told you the other day, one of my dream cars when I was a kid was an AMC Javelin. And, chances of finding one of those is slim to freaking nothing. But that's American Motor Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like my first car was like a 80 something, like 82 Monte Carlo. But I did wreck my mom's 78 Camaro.
Oof.
Yeah. Bad times.
Yeah, well.
Not good times.
My mom talked about how much she liked the Pinto.
She must have been suicidal.
She didn't have any issues, and I was like, I'm pretty sure. I'm surprised Papa will even let you drive that thing.
So we got okay. Here's our Scorpion Man.
Papa must not have known the volatility of that car.
Serpent. So where's Serpent Man?
Yeah, the 80s had some solid
Here it
cars.
See, you see, this is what I'm going for, guys. Is the Serpent Man in the book is actually wearing clothes and stuff. So, whereas the Nagara that Reaper sells is just a snake with a weapon. So, yeah, I'm going for the whole wizard, snake man, Conan type thing, right? Let's see these guys. What do they got? They're lawful evil. Base armor class 6, hit die 2+2. They get 1 attack, but they can use the bite or the weapon. They can alter themselves to make themselves look human. They can command serpents and giant snakes.
Never heard of a Tempest.
Oh yeah. The Tempest was a beast.
Yeah.
That's kind of a sleeper card. The Tempest is like.
It didn't look so fancy,
They got
but
improvision, and they're venomous. And if you don't make a save, you suffer an additional 1d6 hit points and paralysis. And these guys absolutely, they hate humans. It says here they've been at war off and on with crabmen, elder things, the deep ones, the great race, the Migo. And they ruled a whole epoch of the Hyperborean on old Earth. But then they slithered into Underborea to hide. It says here that they are incredibly intelligent. Brilliant scientists, sorcerers, Dwemer crafters, and toxicologists. They mostly venerate Yig, the great serpent. And it says here, most snake men adopt a class. Typical examples being a magician, illusionist, necromancer, monk, priest, and assassin. They can all advance to the 11th level of experience. And for every level in the class, you just add 1 hit die to their 2+2 base. Yeah. So that's a kind of a scary monster, right? Because it's a 2+2, but it has a class. So you run in on a serpent man and he starts kung fu fighting you. You're going to be like, wait a minute. Everybody was. When my party encountered serpent men, they encountered 3 of them. And all 2 of them were mages and 1 of them was a cleric. And that fight very nearly was a freaking group war. And that's 6 or 7 players versus 3 serpent. But the serpentmen won initiative, and right off the bat, the cleric dropped the hold spell and got 3 of the player characters right off the bat.
Yeah, that sounds like what happened yesterday whenever a couple of those dragon men came up behind us and casted a whole person on me, the dwarf, and another guy. And we all 3 rolled 1, 2, and 3 in a row.
I'll tell you, it's not a good time.
Yeah, but seriously, what's the odds of us just rolling in order of 1, 2, and 3?
Right. And in this game, I mean, like the fact that, like, if you have a serpent man or a snake man that's a necromancer, depending on his level, he's going to have skeletons helping him out. He's going to be innervating your strength away, doing all kinds of shit. And then they are one of the monsters in the game that a lot of times will have ancient technology, So the laser pistol that the one guy in my group has, they got it from Serpentman. Of course, he doesn't know that it's almost out of ammo. He has no idea how to reload it. And even if he did have an idea how to reload it, he doesn't have any batteries.
Yeah, I was like, where's he gonna get the batteries?
So either way, you know, but he'll probably carry it with him until the end of time, you know, just in case. And I don't blame him. I would too. Yeah, wifey, when she leaves, gets off work, is going to get her hair did. I'm all like, meh. Home alone with my puppy. Just hanging out. Yep. That is a fact, Mr. Squirrel. That is 100% reality speaking. Monsters that have class levels, not a joke.
The good
really
news.
stuff.
Well, good news
Right.
for us. Whenever we did get whenever we three did get a whole person casted upon us,
Yeah.
our mage dispelled it instantly.
Yeah, that's
We won
kind of
initiative,
not instantly, but it's kind of what happened in my group. The witch got rid of it.
Yeah.
So
we luckily won initiative, and the mage got to cast cast the spell magic on us and save us from being held. Which we still lost our turn that time, but at least we weren't helpless if anybody attacked us.
right. Yep. So the same thing, the witch who had not been held unheld the mage and you know, got some people back up and fighting. The cleric.
And I was very useful for being basically a sponge for arrows because, yeah, we decided to run
Because
away
of your
from that
armor
fight.
class.
Yeah, I was saying because we decided to run away from the dragon men who were shooting arrows at us.
You're like, run away, run away. Dun 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 dun.
And yeah, those dragon men didn't follow us. They decided it's not worth it.
Yeah, I know exactly what I'll do when I'm done with this.
Sadly, we didn't get to loot any of them though, so there was
No,
that.
that's the thing. Yeah, the players. I already told you, didn't I?
What?
The players went to Mender's library.
Minder's library.
Rooted around, got attacked by a specter. One of them lost 8 con right off the bat.
Oh yeah, he talked about that. Yeah.
He was all like, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's how that works."
My Minder's library was a lot more chill, I think. We didn't really run into a specter. There was a ghost, and he was like a friend of, I think, Mender.
Yeah.
And, we checked out books. We looked around. It was a nice place we could go to.
Yeah, my Mender's library, there was a specter there, and it was Mender. And he was very angry about the fact that Vikings had raided and burnt down the library. So the library and the roof were still there because they were not flammable. Yeah. But the books on the interior were just tore to shit. And so, yeah, you had this angry specter kind of floating around, pissed off. So as soon as the player characters attracted it, basically by trying to bang its door open, like where his room had been. Yeah, he whipped out. Was like, all right, let's do this shit. And they started fighting, and
The most dangerous thing we found at Minder's library was a half minotaur, half centipede chaos monster.
that is weird. Yeah,
Yes.
bear in mind though, my player characters are like fourth level, fifth level, so I need to give them nastier stuff to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the DM thinks we're gonna die because he's like, hey, if you die in this, what do you guys want to do after this?
Well, either he thinks you're going to die or he's planning on killing you
Yeah, no kidding.
because he's bored of whatever you're doing
I don't know how he's bored. We're doing things.
and he wants to run another game, maybe. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, it is a possibility. Now, I've got a scroll with a skull on it on my table somewhere here. I'm getting ready to, there it is. I'm getting ready to glue it onto the belt of my serpent cleric so that, yeah. So everyone will know. Uh-oh.
You know, James, everybody's gangster till the cleric starts flying.
Right?
I basically used that fact to draw arrow fire against the serpent men. Basically flew up to the front, just like sat there trying to get them to shoot at me only.
See, if you were in Hyperborea and you did that, there would be a chance that one of those serpent men would just dispel magic on your ass.
Fair enough.
And how'd you feel about that?
That would suck. That does work on magic items, right?
I think it shuts them off for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that would definitely suck.
Yeah, I don't think it like removes the magic, but it might turn them off for a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd have to double check that actually.
that's what I thought that it would do, was like, shut them off for a bit.
Just shut it off for a round or two.
Might even be more than a round or two, depending on how powerful the spell is, at least.
Yeah, I'd have to double check that so as not to rip the player off, but
I'm probably running on a little low on that flight anyway. I like using it a lot.
yeah, we got there's a lady in our group, and the last game we played, she had found a broom of flying. Oh my god. She's all like wanting to fly up. Plus, she was playing a gnome. Plus, when she showed up, she's like, my character's chaotic neutral. So I should have known. Like, all of the telltale signs were there. A chaotic neutral gnome thief. I should have been like, this is going to be trouble. And it was. But it was fun, too. And now she's playing an Amazon assassin. And she's still a lot of fun to have in the group. So,
Yeah, Cryomancer should make quick work of a serpent man.
Cryomancers can. Yeah, we've got the Cryomancer in our group, and he's not batting too well, let's say.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he cannot roll good to save his life. And then, like I said the other day, I started asking him to roll for wandering encounters. And I kid you not, if there is a wandering encounter that's like a 1 in any number, he will roll the 1. And some people said that's mean of me, to make the players roll for their own wandering monsters. Like my brother, I think, said that. But I'm like, I don't think it is. I'm just making you guys part of the game.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. So it's what the DM says. I don't
Right.
even see how that changes much.
Right. So, but yeah, this guy, he just cannot roll good. It's like, I don't know. The fates have cursed him.
Guess that could
I'm
happen.
just like, all right, roll me a wonder monster. Sure shit. He's going to roll the 1. And I'm like, cool. Roll another die. Let's see what you get.
It's gonna be the worst monster, and it's like, why?
That was why Hungar was bitching their day. He's like, we were just sitting there talking, and then the wandering monster shows up. And I'm like, yeah, you were loitering in the dungeon. That is when the monsters show up.
It's when the monsters usually show up, or sometimes. Not much for us, actually. We've been really lucky on that.
Well, he's my brother. My brother.
And luckily enough, we stopped running into a bunch of cloakers.
Oh yeah.
We haven't run into many cloakers anymore. I mean, that's a nice thing.
Yeah, that's something to be happy about. We've avoided cloakers. Squirrel says he pretty much always lets them roll. I'm getting to be that guy too, Squirrel. I'm like, and I tell him, I'm like, I let you guys roll so that you can't bitch at me about it. If you guys roll Wandering Monster and it's something really terrible, you got no one to blame but you.
How about this, James?
What?
Can the monsters crit?
In my game, yeah.
Okay.
Not only can they crit, but in Hyperborea, when you crit, you roll a dice 6. And it's like on a 1 or 2, it's +2 to your damage. On a 3 or 4 or 5, I think, it's double damage. And on a 6, it's triple damage. So every crit isn't just a crit.
In Public's game, not all monsters can crit. It has to be like, what do you call it?
Like a champion monster or something?
Yeah, something like that. A champion monster. Most monsters can't crit.
Well, I mean, that's actually very nice of him.
Yeah.
Since the chances of anybody getting a crit are heavily favored by the monsters.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be doing the most attacks.
Oh, definitely. Whenever you have like 20 archers shooting you at the same time.
Right. So a lot of games don't allow the monsters the crit because of mathematically it puts too much in favor of the monsters.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not that guy. What? Good for him. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So, just so everybody knows, my wife just came in to let me know that Carmelo Anthony was found guilty, and I guess they gave him 99 years or some shit.
I heard about that earlier.
But he got murder, not manslaughter.
Yep, murder, not manslaughter. Andrew Wilson was talking about it. He was streaming that.
All right. I mean, I honestly didn't care enough to stream it.
Yeah.
I'm way more excited by my serpent men. Uh-oh. It's just bubble wrap, guys. Calm down.
Oh, okay.
Everything's good.
I was like, I heard a pop, but hopefully that's not bad.
Yeah, shit's popping off in the neighborhood.
No, I didn't think it was a gunshot. Just more like something went wrong somewhere.
Well, something did go wrong. I spilt a good, say, 1/5 of a bottle of Tester's ultra thin glue on my leg.
Oh,
And it sucks because now I'm sitting here breathing the fumes of it.
yep.
So I'm getting ready to get high as shit, maybe lose some brain cells. And I'm trying to find the lid. Where the fuck did the lid of it go?
You're just making me think of Afro Man now.
Oh, because I got high.
Yeah. Not just that, but there was that whole thing where he was making fun of the police for raiding him and taking his cake.
Yeah, they took my lemon pound cake. Yeah, he was pretty upset about that shit.
I know.
I was
Well, he
watching on, I forget
also,
whose channel, they were talking about the great Lego instant of like 2026.
oh yeah, Reckless Ben's stuff.
Yeah, somebody
Hey,
stole somebody's Legos,
yeah, it would have been
and then
better if,
like all the cops were out to get the guy that was trying to get the Lego money back. And
yeah. Mormons, what do you do?
yeah, he did mention that they were all like members of the same church or something.
Yeah, I don't think there was any grand conspiracy like he's trying to make it out to be. But
Yeah,
they're of the same community. I could see them siding with the
yeah,
that
I
one guy.
don't. I would be surprised if it was something like that.
If anything, there's also the fact that Reckless Ben was doing some things wrong. One, whenever you serve a subpoena, you don't serve it yourself. You give it to an official to serve it.
Right.
And he had that official. Why didn't he just give her the like a camera and the papers to serve?
I don't know. Probably because he was trying to make money
Content.
content. Because those idiots do that. I mean,
Yeah.
like Johnny Somali's the perfect example.
Yeah, he's just being another nuisance streamer. Not as bad as the others, but still, when you're doing these things, you might want to, especially if you're trying to sue somebody, not do these things.
Right. Well, I think Johnny Somali got like 3.5 years or some shit
Yeah.
in a Korean prison, which is apparently not a good thing.
No, it's not.
So, but couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Okay, let me get that little bit of flash out.
Oh boy. Yeah, I was watching a lot about that too, like Leaflet's video about Reckless Ben, and then the Andrew Bronca.
Oh, the lawyer.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know he said something too.
yeah. People are trying to make it out like he was saying that that the whole thing was stupid. He was more like, no, he's just making mistakes, things that probably for his show, but yeah, you don't want to do. He
Right.
didn't really say much about the actual lawsuit in of itself.
Yeah, I saw him say something about like how in Utah they got like a different law than in
Yeah,
other states, and you got to do certain different things. But apparently, according to the law, when the cops showed him the paperwork, that under Utah law, that is being served.
yeah, that is being
Whether he
served.
took it or not, it doesn't matter.
It
He's
doesn't
aware
matter.
of it. He has been served. So, yeah, at that point, you didn't even need,
Anything else, you've got him served at that
yeah,
point.
he got served. The cop served him. And I was like, huh, you know?
I don't think the cop even understood that law though, because it sounded like he refused it. He's not served yet, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. A lot of police officers, like even the really good ones that, aren't trying to be jerk offs and stuff, they don't know every single thing all of the
Yeah,
time. And a lot of times, they're going by something they remembered and they can be wrong. Like in the state of Florida, like I said, you could always in the state of Florida carry a rifle as long as you were camping, hiking, or fishing. You would be surprised how many Florida cops don't know that. So you can be standing out by a canal, have your AR strapped on your back, fishing, and the cops will come up and be like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "I'm fishing." And then you have to explain to them the law. And depending on the cop, a lot of times they'll be like, "Oh, okay, shit. I didn't even know that." But some cops, they take it personal because they hate. There are some police out there, I hate to say, who get a big ego and they do not like if anybody questions their authority. And then you can get into a lot more issues than you really wanted to, which is why I would never do that, even though you can. I wouldn't because I avoid the issue.
Hey James, our laws are even less strict on yours than that one. In that case, we can just carry them anywhere as
Oh, I
long as
know.
it's like a prohibited area.
Right. I know. The church my pop goes to, like everybody in that church is packing. If somebody tried to run into that church and pull some bullshit, they would be in a lot of trouble really quick.
I could just carry my K98 wherever I want.
Because seriously, even the old ladies in that church are packing heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want to go in there. And then my pops walks around with his freaking firearm on his hip. I think I told you about that, though.
Yeah.
When I was up there, I kept my shit concealed. Because
which is also
if somebody
legal.
runs in, I don't want them to know I'm the guy with the gun.
We're complete constitutional carry. You don't have to have any permit for any of that.
Yeah, Florida has that rule too now. We used to have where you had to have it concealed, and apparently they got rid of that. And now you can just do whatever you want. At least that's what I was told.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would trust it, though, and put my whole life on the line based on anything I say. That would be stupid.
I'm just finding it funny that you have to actually be hunting or fishing for you to carry a gun.
Oh, no. That's always was that way. It's now it's just fucking do it.
Okay.
Like, oh, you're going to Aldi's? Well, let's fucking throw the 911 in. I mean, whatever, right?
Not just the 911. I'm talking about rifles.
Right. Well, Florida, for the longest time, they had a rule where you could carry without license or anything, but it had to be concealed. And it was mainly because the cops were getting sick and tired of little biddies calling and bitching because some guy's walking down the street with a rifle.
Well, couldn't you just, find the people who are just calling and annoying you instead of...
Oh, they have to do that. But you see, that takes away from maybe they should be out doing some other shit. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're having to respond to all these stupid calls from generally transplants that are like, oh, there's a guy walking down the street or over by the canal and he's got a rifle and it's a big scary black looking rifle and blah, blah, blah. And then the cops have to come out there and be like, hey, So they kind of made the rule where, yeah, you can carry wherever you want, whenever you want, basically, except bars, I think. But it has to be concealed. And then my brother says recently they even changed that. And they're just like, F it, knock yourselves out, And yes, it is stupid, but you would be surprised about how many rules the police and fire department follow. That's just 100% based on not getting stupid calls. Right? And that number is a lot. That number is a whole lot, because you don't want all these stupid ass calls all the time. Like, so regardless of what happens, as a cop, you got to show up. You've got to contact the person who called. You have to spend however long explaining to them that the thing they're all upset about is perfectly legal. And then you might get to hear an earful from some, person that moved down from Jersey or something about how much that sucks. So when you start adding it all up together, it turns into a real pain in the ass for the cop. And while I understand if somebody says, well, it's their job, yeah, it is their job, but they're going to do anything they can to make their job as least that as possible. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
That's not something they want any part of. So they're just going to be like, yeah, F this shit. You know, I'm going to we're gonna, make a rule that you can't just wander around with a gun because it scares old people. But now it's different. But again, personally, I will just carry my shit concealed. That way, I don't have to worry about any of it.
I get that.
Now, up in Kentucky, when I was up there, everybody was walking around with their shit out in the breeze. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that is their right to do. And I'm like, all right, you do you. But my little Hellcat was well concealed.
I just know that the polite society is an armed society.
Oh yeah.
In every
And
game I've seen,
that's the thing with Florida. It's like you don't know who is armed when you're in Florida.
yeah,
That's the thing. Sacha, my friend, how you doing?
I'm just saying, in every
Drop
game
me
I
in
know,
before bed. You want to see what I'm doing? I'm taking these really cheap Reaper Bones Nagara, they call them. I'm cutting them in half, using a little green stuff and everything. And then I'm using the Serpent Men or whatever from North Star Miniatures, Snake Men from Ghost Archipelago. To make them look like that. Because the Snake Men from the archipelago, they're actually wearing like armor and clothes and all kinds of stuff like that, right? And that's kind of, I'm going for that. I'm going for the thing with Snake Men and Hyperborea, which we've already talked about. They're 2+2 hit die, but they all have a class. So technically, they're at least 3+2 hit die. And I need more cowboy stuff arrived. Nice. Because, I mean, technically, if they all have a class and the minimum class is 1, then every Snake Man, in theory, is going to be a 3+2 hit die creature with, level 1 in some class. But I would say most of them would probably be closer to level 2 or 3. And most of them are probably going to be casters of some sort. Yeah, I have picked up quite a few of the old Reaper minis lately. Here's what I've picked up. I'll show you. Of course, I had to mod it because I can't help it. But it's a Scorpion Man, but I gave him 2 of the extra Dark Elf swords from my Warhammer collection. Because the sword that it came with, I wasn't a fan of. So I went ahead and threw some Dark Elf blades on it. Because they look a lot weirder and like, curvy and effed up. And one thing I was saying earlier to the guys who were here listening is when you're kit bashing anything for Hyperborea, it's kind of like the weirder, the better. And when you paint anything for Hyperborea, it is definitely the weirder, the better. I mean, you can get away with some like normal, historically accurate stuff. 100% you can, but Hyperborea is a weird place. And so, yeah, you might want to make some weird shit. So Goblins and wraiths, though. Yeah, my group the other day, they went into this library and got attacked by a specter. And the very first attack of the specter dropped the fighter magic user down by 8 con. He was not a happy boy. He was not happy at all. I think he was clinching pretty hard. It put him at 6 constitution and like 12 total hit points. Like that was his max. Like his max hit points were like 12 because of all the penalties from losing hit points from con. Like at 6, I think that's -1 or -2, right? So he wasn't happy.
I'm gonna have to get off here though. I'll see you.
Well, thank you for popping on there, Timmy.
No problem.
Appreciate. You have a wonderful time. Yeah. Timmy, everybody. Yeah.
Are you done with your thing, Dave?
No. Do you need me to be?
No, you were just super cool. I would like you to get the water out of the car before I leave.
Before you leave.
Yeah, I want to put something in the fridge while I'm gone.
See, this piece right here is supposed to go on a Dark Elf somewhere. And I decided to just put it on this guy as kind of like some kind of weird headdress or something, I guess. When I paint it up, it'll look pretty badass, you know. And when are you leaving? Babe. Tracy. Tell me stuff and then just walk off. Be like, I need you to get something. When do you need me to get it? I don't know. Figure it out. Figure it out, fool. I love these, by the way. These are the new Reaper weapon sprues you can buy. I mean, I think they're like $20, but you get like 4 sprues full of all kinds of just cool plastic, hard injection molded plastic. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I've been going through those just like, you know, modding stuff up, doing all kinds of kit bashing and everything with those. So it has been really, really cool. Really cool. So guys, it's going good. It's been about 6 months now. And everybody's alive, though a couple of times that is by the slimmest margins. And, you know, everybody's having a great time. So, like I was saying on Shadows earlier, well, actually, every time I'm on Shadow's show, I don't see us ever quitting Hyperborea because the players and everyone at the table just seem to absolutely love it. So it's a weird thing when you think that the game you're playing may be the last game you ever play. You know what I mean? And it may be the last game I ever play. I may never, ever play not another single game because Like my niece bought me a copy of the Arkham Horror role playing game, which I like a lot. And I started talking about it. And my brother was instantly like, "We're not quitting Hyperborea." And I was like, "I know we're not." He's like, "Well, I just want to make sure you know we're not." I'm like, "I know. Relax." Which they get a little hyper about that shit because there was a time when it could be said, rightly so, that I had a severe case of D&D or role-playing ADHD. It was like I'd run something for a month and then I'd be ready to run something else. And it pissed my players off so bad. I mean, they were pissed. And like some of them were talking about, if you in this game after only a couple months, I swear I'll never play another game with you. That was conversations that were being had. I mean, people were pissed. So in order to calm everyone down, I was like, okay, we're going to switch to this game, and I promise you it will last at least a year. Oh, nice. Nice. And they were all like, okay, we'll see. And so I ran Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and it went well over a year. And by the time that game ended, they were all really kind of happy, Like the guy who had been playing a knight had eventually become like a lesser lord. And, so a lot of things happened, and it ended on like a really kind of good note, Some of the characters were married, and some of them were doing this and that and the other. And so they were really, really happy. Now, bear in mind, like I always say, I do have ladies at the table, and they do like to role play, having boyfriends and stuff like that. They complained about Greg. I'm shocked to hear that because the Black Lodge guys, generally speaking, in my experience, have always been ultra cool, Unless something has been done or said recently, every interaction I've ever had with those guys has been great, So I don't know. Now, Mr. Gillespie, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. The Black Lodge guys, I kind of know, in that I have at least spoken to them online once or twice. So I'm sure they got a reason, is what I'm trying to say. If they have an issue with him, I'm sure they have some good reason for it, because they're not drama llama guys, those guys, they're not running around just trying to stir up shit for no good reason. That's not how they are, And right. So now on the other hand, Double D has talked to Greg Gillespie and says he's a great guy. As far as I remember from Double D talking about it. So again, I don't know. It'd be sad if there was some kind of beef out there, because like it's not what we actually need. Now, Iron Man, my braggable event is that Jeff Talanian, the creator of Hyperborea, popped into my chat, and he and I chatted for like 30 minutes. And he said that I need to get with him and figure out a time when he can just join me on chat, like actually in the chat, and hang out. And I was all like, holy shit, Senpai noticed me. And he was a really good guy. He cleared something I guess I'd been doing wrong up. Well, I hadn't been doing it wrong. I'd just been thinking things were away when they weren't. And he cleared it up, and he's like, no, that's not the way it is. And when he explained what it was, I was like, holy shit, that makes a lot more sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Great guy. Now, I haven't necessarily worked up the nerve to actually contact him. Good night, Satya. Sleep well. I haven't worked up the nerve to contact him and be like, hey, when's a good time for you to pop on with me? But I might do that at some point. He's not the only guy who's asked me that, too. There's a couple of guys out there that are kind of in the gaming thing that have, like Alexander Macris one time said that he would join me for an interview, a talk, a chat, anything like that. And I never made the move, even though I talked to him on Discord, here and there. So yeah, a big part of that's just my fault. You know what I mean? For not making the move to actually make those guys come on and hang out. But now Jeffrey, I think what he saw is I was doing a live stream, and the title of it was Hyperborea is the best D&D ever. And he said he saw the live stream was going on X, and he saw the title of it. So he popped in to see what I was doing. And I guess he kind of lurked for a little bit. And then when he saw what was up, he started being like, hey, and I was like, hey. And like I said, he was super, super cool. Super cool guy. Gods of the Forbidden North. Is that like Hyperborean adjacent in a way? Like Agartha and all that sort of stuff? It sounds cool. Yeah, the reason I don't think this game is going to end is the setting. The players, there's always something, you know what I mean, in the setting for them to mess with. Whether it's running around the swamps outside of Chromarium, or whatever the hell they want to do. There's just a lot of stuff to explore, a lot of different kind of cultures and people to interact with. And, my group they're a weird mix. It's like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes they're murder hobos. But then other times, they're deep immersive role players. I think it just depends on, whatever's going on. You know what I mean? It just depends. Because, the ladies, of course, they want to get to know the world. And they want to get to know the inhabitants of the world and why things are the way they are. And, some of the guys are that way too. But some of the guys, they just want to, kill stuff and get XP. Now, personally, I don't think you guys have ever heard me talk shit about murder hobos. And I won't. And the reason I won't is, if you've got a game going and you've got, 5 or 6 people who show up every week, and if all they want to do is run around and kill orcs, I say, God bless you, have a good time, right? Bust out the beer and peanuts. Everything doesn't have to be the Lord of the Rings. Some things can just be raiding for the brown cow of McDurry or some shit, It's like, I think that's what some DMs get flipped, is they feel like every single thing they do has to be some major freaking thing. It really doesn't. I mean, so when I run the game, I learn the setting and I throw my own angle on the setting. But then I kind of hang back and let the players themselves figure out exactly what it is they're interested in doing. You know, if they want to, if they want to do this or that, if they want to catch a ship to somewhere, well, I mean, okay, that's cool. Now, my wife needs me to go out and grab some water because for some reason she drinks bottled water. She doesn't believe me that the microplastics in the bottled water are probably more terrible for her than the filtered water that I drink. But if I don't do that, then I'm going to lose my good boy points. And I worked hard this morning fixing the AC and everything to get my good boy points. So I will have to step away from the computer for a moment. And I apologize. I know it's like whatever, but I apologize for this. I will be back in probably just a couple minutes, since just walking out in the front yard and getting into the car, popping open the SUV and grabbing a flat of water out. So I will go ahead and mute this. I might leave the camera on so you can just sit and stare at, hey, look at Zygon up here. Yeah, Zygon. He's a good monster. Not really, though. But I will be right back. All right. She surprised me. There was multiple crates of water or cases, flats, whatever, but it's handled, so she can be happy.
Because I'm like a ninja.
Yeah, you're like something.
I'm a ninja.
A ninja? Is that what you're going with?
Or a little trial.
Nah, you're my trotty elf. Trots around, whatever, trotty elf. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, the coupling one.
Yeah, it smiles a lottie. So, 3 giant books. Wow. Never even heard of it. Well, it's like my niece got me the Arkham Horror role-playing game, right? I'd never even heard of it.
You're going to have to stay with that there.
Yeah, my dog already knows that the wife's getting ready to leave, and he is not happy.
Did you hear him cry?
I hear him crying.
I'll be back ASAP, my love.
I don't expect you to be gone too long. I mean, for a haircut.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Gonna be all, get my hair all pretty.
Get your hair all pretty.
I'll be back, baby.
Yeah. Oh, shit. You know what I need to do? Shadow, if you're lurking, why aren't you joining, man? I told him I'd do that. Because apparently he likes to lurk. Because he's busy doing stuff. And he knows that I'll guilt him into joining. So I told him I'd guilt him even if he isn't here. That's right. The guilt is real. See, who I haven't seen today is my brother. And that is starting to aggravate the shit out of me. Like that bastard, right? He's related to me. There's no excuse for this shit. So I am getting ready to direct interface with him and send him a link and then maybe call him a bunch of names, depending on how I feel about it, you know, because there's no excuse. When your big brother goes online, you drag your ass up and you do what needs to be done, right? You support your bro. So anyway, unless he's in a hospital. If he's in the hospital, well then well, I have never heard anyone call a white person a sun dodger. That is a new word. Okay. That's nice, though. Okay, I like that. Yeah, you throw it out there, sister. I was over on Facebook trying to get in touch with my brother, and I saw a black lady standing out, and she's got a sign that says, "I will not teach my children to hate yours." And I'm like, that makes me feel warm in my cockles. Like down here in the cockle region, you know? And I don't know, maybe it's my own kind of weird racism, but every time I see like a brother or a sister acting right, I just get so happy. You know, I just get so happy about it. I'm just like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love it. You know, you just woke up. You just woke up. Punk ass. So, yes, is it maybe some kind of weird form of racism? I guess it could be. Maybe I'm holding different standards. Maybe I'm not being cool, but there's nothing I love more than a base black woman or black man. I'll tell you what. I'll take a base black dude over any a liberal white dude any day. That's for sure. As far as who I want to hang out with, hell yeah. I would definitely rather hang out with the base brother than some libtard white guy. Oh, my brother's in the chat waiting. So,
What are you doing, Noob Sauce?
I am making serpent men so that you will have to fight them one day.
Cool.
And I've learned all kinds of things about them too.
I just woke up and put dinner in the oven.
Okay, listen to what you just said.
Yeah.
How's that work out?
It was my nap time, so I took a nap.
You just woke up and then put dinner in. It's like, dude.
Yeah, it was my nap time, so I laid down and took a nap, and then I overslept a little bit, so I went to dinner in the oven. I've got set routines I follow, man.
I'm just going to have to talk to mom. That's all.
About what? Me taking a nap?
Yeah.
She
The lack
takes
of
naps.
loyalty.
She takes naps too. Hey, if you're gonna expect me to be on your stream, you got to make sure that it's times that I'm available.
You're always sleeping.
Yeah, I sleep a lot.
So what I did, brother, is I took these kind of crappy bone serpent people,
Yeah.
cut the tops off of them, and then took the heads, the torsos, and the arms of these guys and put on them.
Nice.
And I ended up with this guy right here is one of them.
Why does your internet suck so bad today?
My internet sucks every day. But why are you asking?
You're like skipping and laggy and
Oh, no, that's you, bro. That's you. That's not me.
Okay.
I might have fixed my internet problems a little bit. I went over to where the router was, and Tracy had piled like flowers and all kinds of shit around it. So it was like, if the router works by sending a signal through the air, and yet it's completely enclosed behind flowers and stuff, that could be an issue.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. So, oh, I thought I heard somebody. It's you.
Yeah, it's me.
What are you doing?
Playing video games.
What video game?
Doom.
Oh, okay. Back to Doom.
I just goofing off on it for a while.
Multiplayer or single player?
I'm on a multiplayer, but I'm playing single player.
Yeah.
I don't know if the multiplayer is up and available yet.
I think, and you tell me if I'm just being a little crazy here or something. But it's almost like I feel like the age of the MMO has passed.
I would agree with that a bit.
You know, because I remember being so hardcore, like addicted to like EverQuest, freaking Dark Age of Camelot. Like there were so many MMOs there for like what would you say, a 10-year period?
Yeah, it was all MMOs.
And we were just freaking gaming those bastards out every day. Eve, whatever, right? And then at some point, it just went away.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, you know, if you think about it. It's like, but why did it go away?
It's like, why did people quit playing them? I mean,
Yeah, because it wasn't just us that quit.
now, I mean, you still got your WoW players, and I still play WoW.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
a day a week or so with my buddy Klaus and his family.
right.
But mostly it's like MMOs went away. And then they came out with, you know, the survival games.
Which were, I mean, a game like Dune was, I would say, honestly, that's an MMO.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a multiplayer situation, you know? So, yeah, that's definitely an MMO. So then why did it come out, hang out for like a couple months, and then just die?
Yeah, if that.
You know, it's like, you know, has society changed to the point that like we just can't have MMOs anymore because no one's got the attention span it takes to play MMOs?
That's probably it. I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Well, this is just me, you know, bullshitting with you about it.
Yeah, and you know, it makes me sad because I like MMOs.
Dude, we had so much fun in those MMOs that we used
Yeah.
to play, man. Whether it was EQ or freaking,
Some of our best times was MMOs.
yeah, Dark Age of Camelot especially.
Yeah.
Like we were up in that shit for years too. That wasn't like just a little time sink. We were playing that thing for damn near most of a decade.
We set our schedule for DAOC.
Around raids and shit. Yeah, you know. And then one day just everyone quit. Well, they quit to go play WoW. Because I think a problem with MMOs is like over time, if they don't add stuff, some people just get bored.
Yeah.
And then they move on to the next thing, right?
And
Whereas me, I could have happily woke up every day, ran out to Dun Crim Thane, spent hours fighting albs, and been perfectly happy for the next, you know, however many years. Because to me, it was just all about the daily thing, you know, talking to the people that I talk to every day, going out and kicking the albs' ass for being albs, you know, that sort of thing, you know. I didn't need new content because I was completely content with what was already in. Especially when we became able to like basically do all the raids and shit.
Yeah.
Like I was good at that point. I was like, all right, you know, let's go get the Phoenix feather. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. But then when it got to where there weren't enough people to actually do raids, that's when you just got to face the facts. That the game is dead and it's never coming back. So I'm thinking I'm going to give these serpent men crossbows instead of bows.
I still miss the AOC.
Yeah. And the reason I'm thinking crossbows is because serpent men are all about like technology and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, a mechanical weapon would be a lot more of a thing they might have.
Yeah, they'd want pretty much any kind of technological advantage they could get. That's
Right.
just how separate men are.
Yeah, it's just how they are. They want. So, who do you think the creepiest devil is on any movie?
Geez, you ain't got hard questions or anything today, do you?
Not really.
Okay. It comes up to two. One, there's not a better devil, in my opinion, than the one on Constantine.
Okay.
But the one from End of Days with Arnie was a good devil too.
See, I agree with you totally about the Constantine devil, but I think Viggo Mortensen was a better devil than Arnie's devil.
Yeah, he was the one in The Fallen, right?
No, he was the one in Prophecy.
Oh, Prophecy. That's the one I meant.
Yeah. You know, the whole God loves you, I do not love you. You know, I can lay you out and fill your mouth with your mother's feces, or we can talk. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit. But then the one on Constantine, the way he was so like, it was almost like he was kind of a sex pest towards John, you know? Like he was acting like kind of like this guy might actually have like some romantic feelings towards John Constantine in a way.
Hey, Shadwell. Hey, Steve.
I changed my mind on which one. Oh no, I haven't changed my mind. The best devil is the one from Constantine, for sure. But the Viggo Mortensen devil is really good too. I mean, you can't, it's hard to argue with that. That's what I was just telling Hungar. I mean, yeah, he was really good. Creepy. I love when he was all like, you know, you remember when you used to jump into bed and pray I wasn't under it? I was. Yeah. I mean, that is just, but then, you know, the one dude in Constantine, he is just so freaking giddy and over the moon, you know, that he's getting ready to get John Constantine finally, you know, the only soul he would come up to get personally.
Which, you know what? That says a lot.
Yeah, well, you know, John Constantine had been a constant pain in his ass for ever. Yeah, I don't think Vigo's better. Vigo is definitely the more bestial, in your face devil.
Yeah, and the one on Constantine, he was
The one in
more like,
Constantine is just a fucking creeper.
yeah.
He is just creepy. You get the idea that the second he gets a chance, he is going to molestate John.
Shove a pineapple up somebody's butt.
Yeah, he's going to do some shit. I mean, and it's not going to be good. He the way he plays that character, he's not. It's like he goes back and forth between being masculine and feminine. You know, like the part where he starts playing with John Constantine's crotch with his foot. And he's like, John, and all that shit. Weird shit. And then he makes fun of him when John Constantine's like, your son's in the next room. They have the spear of destiny. They have the spear of destiny. Yeah, he's just making fun of him and shit. And then it's like, walks in there and Gabriel starts cussing at him. Little whore, son of perdition. He's just like, I do love the old names. But Hungar. Yeah, what's shaking? I don't know, because I had to call him. Like, I had to get on Facebook. So
I ignore your Facebook messages.
Huh?
I don't look at Facebook.
Then how did you know I was on? Did you just detect?
I just logged on to your stream.
So you were like, uh-oh.
No,
I detected a disturbance in the force.
Like, my brother's on stream, so I better log on and say hi to him. Let me finish taking care of this.
So this guy, I think, is going to be a cleric. Because I gave him like a mace type item. So check him out.
Nice.
And I may put some capes on some of them because, serpent men actually wear clothes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, these all came from those really cheap Reaper Bones Nagaras, and I just cut them off at the torso and put the freaking Ghost Archipelago Snake Man bodies on them, which also gives me a much broader range of weaponry. So, got this guy right here rocking a crossbow.
Here I am, rock you with the crossbow.
Hey, being that he's a serpent man and quite possibly of, X amount of levels in something.
Yeah.
My camera's blurred. It could be me shaking too.
No, your camera's blurry.
I'm using the camera on the computer, which sucks.
Yeah, I told you your camera was blurry, remember?
Oh, I thought you said I was. Never mind. Anyway. Repeating crossbows. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Blood Angels forever, man.
I just had to school Corn Dog.
Oh, why?
He was on Discord with his freaking Arma video game buddies. They're talking about Space Marine chapters. And he's like, I like the Fist of the Emperors.
Imperial Fist?
And I like, don't you mean Imperial Fist? He's like, yeah, whatever. I just like them because of the Angry Marines. I was like, Angry Marines aren't part of the Imperial Fist, you dumbass.
Damn. So you went hard at him.
Well, I'm like, if you're going to talk 40K, know what you're talking about. Now, last night, my neighbor, he's a redneck construction guy, right? I went outside to walk the dog, and he came out, and he's like, you know about 40K a little bit, don't you? Like, yeah, I've only been playing since 3rd edition. Yeah, I haven't really played a lot, but I love the lore after the video game came out. He's like, who's your favorite Primarchs? I was like, well, Sanguinius and the Lion. Lionel Johnson, Sanguinius. He's like, who do you think they're going to bring back next? And I was like, well, if I had to choose, from my thought, it would either be Vulcan, Russ, or the Great Khan.
Because they never died.
Yeah, they never died. They never died. I was like, now in a perfect world, Sanguinius would be coming back to life.
See, the only way Sanguinius comes back to life is if that Necron clones him.
Yeah. Or as Fabius Baal do it.
Or, no, not Fabius. Fuck that guy, right? Or if they change the lore and they say that it turns out all along that Sanguinius was a primordial or whatever the hell they are. A perpetual. Which the way things are going now, they could do that. They could just be like, oh, we didn't mention that. Yeah, Sanguinius is a perpetual. Who knew? And I would not complain at all. I'd be like, hell yeah. All right, my boy's back.
And now people are talking about.
Of course, since I sold every bit of the 40K stuff I had,
except for Sanguinius,
who's still sitting up there, I would I'd be like, doesn't matter to me because I play 30K. And Sanguinius is alive and well in 30K. Don't worry about it. He's rocking around doing his thing.
And then we were talking about what everybody thinks about the Emperor of Mankind moving.
Well, yeah, that would be such a huge change in the lore. I'm not even sure that Games Workshop would do it. But if they did do it, it would be like, okay, now what? I mean, the Emperor is moving. Now what? What's getting ready to happen? I mean, I suspect a lot of asses are getting ready to get kicked. But, I don't know that for a fact, though. But that would be my suspicion.
Yeah.
A lot of Chaos Marines are getting ready to seriously regret decisions they made.
Yeah, a lot of Chaos Primarchs are getting ready to regret some decisions that they made.
Right.
Like,
oh man, I was watching a lore video, and apparently there's like a company of Iron Warriors that are loyal.
Yeah.
Because they went into the warp during the Horus Heresy, and they were in the warp the whole time. And then they pop back out on some world, and they don't know anything that happened. So they just all started building shit, like fortifying this Imperial world. And the Imperial guys are like, well, what do we do? And according to the lore, in the end, they decide just leave them alone. They're like, let those boys do what they do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they're over here just as some random Imperial world, and these homeboys are just over here just fortifying the shit out of it. You know what I mean? They even sent an Inquisitor to talk to them. And he came back and was like, yeah, I wouldn't fuck with them. It's like,
leave them alone.
Yeah, leave them alone. They're building fortifications for the Emperor's glory. They have no fucking clue. But the thing is, they're mutants. Except every time one of them develops a mutation, they cut it off.
That sounds like the Iron Warriors.
Yeah, so one of them will grow a tentacle or some shit. They'll just cut that shit right off and keep building. And it's just like, it kind of makes me think, what's his name that they make all the cartoons with? The Mexican dude, he would definitely be an Iron Warrior.
Yeah.
What's his name? Tell me.
I don't remember.
Like he was part of like Friends with Dora the Explorer or something. Man,
Diego?
Yeah, Go Diego Go would be an Iron Warrior. Because all that dude is doing is building shit all day. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. You're going to run up and inform these Space Marines that they're traitors when they don't know they're traitors. It's like, I don't think that works out. I think you leave them alone. If it becomes a problem, you deal with it when it becomes a problem. But until then, just let them keep on doing their thing,
Yeah.
And
they're working for the glory of the Emperor. You leave them alone and let them do their glory of the Emperor stuff.
Yeah. It's like everything they're building is for the glory of the Emperor. All right. I'm not messing with them. Now, if I were going to make like a really weird 40K army based on something like that, I would buy a bunch of Blood Angels, but the most like generic Blood Angels I could buy, not super whatever.
Yeah.
Mark III armor. They'd all have to be in Mark III armor. And I would paint them slate gray and just put the Roman numeral 9 on their shoulder pad and then use like a toothbrush to flick red ink on them all. And that'd be it. Yeah. Hungar's saying going through his lore memory banks right now.
Yeah, well, that's what I like most about.
Okay, you want me to tell you the lore on that?
No, I know the lore on that. That's the Ninth Legion. That's the precursor of the Blood Angels, dude. Don't text
Yep.
my gangster.
Well,
The thing
what
I
were they
like
called?
most,
What were they called?
the Ninth Legion.
They were the Ninth Legion, but they had a nickname.
I don't know their nickname,
I forgot it too. I was hoping you knew.
but the thing I love most about 40K is the lore.
Yeah, because the game sucks. I mean, it is like the worst miniature game out there. At any given time, there are so many better miniature games available on the market. What were the Blood Angels called? Was it the Ravagers?
I thought that they were just the Ninth Legion until
No, they had a nickname. No, the Elven Archers still have their head. Because I've been doing this, Steve. I tuck the bones. I've been taking these bones, Nagara, cutting them off, and then using the Ghost Archipelago Snake Men to starts with an R. Come on, look it up for me, man.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me get someplace where I'm not going to die of sunstroke.
Oh.
You know what that's like
Yeah.
in real life and on Doom.
I don't think I've ever had. Well, okay. I definitely overheated once.
Dude, we got so sunburnt that our skin cracked open.
Yeah, that's different than sunstroke, though. Or
But we've
getting a sunburn is just whatever.
We've all been overheated. We're from Florida.
Right. I mean, living in Florida and not getting a sunburn, it's like, what are you doing wrong? Reavers. Something.
Hold on. The Revenant Legion and the Eaters of the Dead.
Yep, the Revenants. And they called them the Revenants because no matter how many casualties they took, by the time it was the next battle, they were all the way filled up again. Because something about the Blood Angels gene seed makes it where almost all of the Blood Angels that get the gene seed put in them survive and become Blood Angels.
Yeah, but they got to do it all at once.
Right. And some of them go crazy.
And not like those wusses they call the space wolves.
Yeah, where they put a little in at a time.
No, you're a Blood Angel. I hope you're ready.
Yep, because you're getting it all and then into the sarcophagus with your punk ass. And we'll see what comes crawling out. Is it going to be a weird space vampire or a Marine? Who knows? Yeah, the Revenant Legion. So I was thinking that would be so cool to show up to like a Saturday game day with just a whole army of Revenant Legion guys with that number 9 Roman numeral and nothing else. And people be like, see who knows. You know what I mean? just roll in and test people's gangster hardcore like that. And when people are like, who are those? What chapter is that? Be like, don't worry about it. And they're like, no, really. I'd be like, it's the Ninth Legion. I'd be like, wait a minute.
Eaters of the
Blood Angels. Exactly.
The Eaters of the Dead is a pretty badass name too.
Well, Flesh Terrors.
No, one of their names was the Eater of the Dead.
Well, I wonder why.
The Revenants and the Eaters of the Dead. That's what they were called.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Well, because they don't leave their dead behind.
Because they eat the dead.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, as a space marine, why wouldn't you though? You've got that organ, right?
Yeah.
So every time you eat the dead, you get all that dead dude's memories and shit. So the question isn't, wow, those guys are fucked up because they eat the dead. The question is, why isn't everyone else?
That one 40K novel that had a bunch of short stories.
Oh,
where
yeah.
The
You're
Space
talking
Marine,
about the Eye of the Warp.
Yeah, where the Space Marine woke up.
Yeah.
And he ate
the Dark Angel.
And he ate the dude's brain to find out what was going on.
In the end, he killed the other Dark Angel and he ate his brain so that he could find out what had actually happened, because the Chaos Marine had been lying to him the whole time and led him down that bad road.
Yeah.
And in the end, when he found out what had happened, he turned himself in to the Dark Angels, Inquisitors, and they executed him. But that was what he wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is how an Inquisitor gets his black pearl. Every time you make a fallen angel repent, you get to add a black pearl to your rosary. So that was a good story. It was like a bunch of different stories that all kind of become one story at the end.
Yeah, they all work together.
It was like you had the merchants that had like the free trader ship. And it turned out that the one guy's sister was actually like a demon of Slanesh in disguise.
Yeah.
And they were smuggling chaos shit into the Empire. And
the wine.
Yeah, the wine that was made from human suffering on that Slanesh world.
Yeah.
And then the whole time that's going on, the one Space Marine finds the other Space Marine and just takes him on a whole let's become as evil as we can thing. And it's telling him, no, this is the way things are now. This is just how we do. And they had went and like fought for, they were chaos. They were chaos undivided. They'd never really took a mark.
Yeah.
They served all of them, but
like the Iron Legion.
Right. Dead Sky Black Sun. Yeah, but in the end, he kills the Chaos Marine and cracks his skull open and starts eating it. And then he realizes everything. So he takes the ship that the Chaos guys, and he makes his way back into the Imperium.
And turns himself in.
He was too far gone to be added to the Grey Knights or anything.
Yeah. He didn't want to be because he knew he messed up.
Well, he was mutated. He had mutations and, if he hadn't been mutated and everything like that, they may have very well just made him a Grey Knight. Because a lot of the Grey Knights are what remains of the traitor legions. Like who the first Grey Knight is, right?
Who?
Garrow.
Really?
Yeah, the Death Guard guy that refused to betray and stole the Eisenstein.
Yep.
Yeah, he becomes the first Grey Knight. And a lot of other Space Marines whose legions had betrayed, but they stayed loyal, they become wine made with liberal tears. Yeah, this was like a Slanesh world. And the humans that lived there, they had some process where they literally made this. They described it as being like a multicolored, metallic, whatever, but it was like basically they made it out of human emotion and suffering.
Yeah.
And of course it killed the humans that they made it out of. And it was super highly addictive, which is why the Navigator even did his thing, because he was super addicted to the chaos wine. And like, it was a whole thing. It was a good book. That book came out like 30 years ago, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can find that book.
No.
I've looked for it and never been able to find it, but it was like Tales of the Eye of the Warp or something like that.
It's a great book, though.
Dead Sky, Black Sun. And I'm sitting over here thinking about, what's the chorus? The sun is gone. Nozara. Some Soviet post-funk. I think I sent it to you, bro.
Yes, you did.
So that you could enjoy it.
And yes, I did.
Yeah.
You did and I did.
Some old school Soviet post-punk. I think that band, I don't know where exactly they're from. I know that Molchat Duma, they're actually from Belarus. They're the ones that sing Sudno, and Sudno is Russian for vessel. Sudno. So, and the whole song is about a guy in a nursing home waiting to die and talking about, the things in the room with him, a pan and whatever, and a window, and he's just in there, a horrible place to live, but a wonderful place to die or something. Cozy place to die. I mean, it's a pretty messed up song.
That is messed up.
But I mean, what do you expect? It's Soviet post-punk.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, away. And then Kino does a song, Blood Type. And that's the chorus. He's singing about being in war. He's like, with my blood type on my sleeve. And because the Soviets apparently used to put a soldier's blood type on the sleeve of their uniform. Which isn't a bad idea. We did our blood type on our dog tags.
Yeah.
And he's talking about going to Afghanistan. That war was about Afghanistan. Stardust on my boots. Yeah. And then another famous Soviet war song, Don't Tell Mom I'm in Chechnya. It's about a soldier writing letters back and forth to his little sister, letting her know how he's doing. But he swore her to secrecy,
Yeah,
he's told her whatever she does, do not tell their mom he's in Chechnya. Because he don't want his mom to worry.
Yeah, well, it's fucking Chechnya, man.
All right.
There's some places I'd rather be than Chechnya. Shit. Like anywhere.
Yeah. I've saw one of those, those dudes that go on these places vacationing. And he went to the capital city of Chechnya and had a great time. Right.
Yeah. It wasn't during, the Chechen.
But it wasn't during one of the two Chechen rebellions. So
yeah. You know, it's like I'd love to see Vietnam, but not in the 70s.
I don't know.
Be like our biological father, balls deep in the Vietnamese bush
Oh man.
in more ways than one.
It'd just be me sitting around listening to like Creedence Clearwater on repeat,
And drinking Budweiser,
drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, man.
smoking Viceroys.
Hey, I would have been in. They had mech units back then, but they were 113, so I'd have been in a 113.
I'd have been right there with you, fool.
I'm just saying, based on my military service, I would have been in one of the armored vehicles, just cruising around.
And
You
I'd have
see
been
them; they
there,
got like the 50 cal mounted to the front, and like 260s mounted facing the side.
and I'd been there because my brother was there.
No, you couldn't have went
Yeah, I could.
because I think they get. Remember that rule
They
that
won't
they had to
draft.
make because of those Irish guys.
Yeah, they couldn't draft me, but I could volunteer,
Oh,
and we couldn't all be in the same unit.
yeah, yeah. I think the O'Malley's or Aurora. Yeah, what borscht and buckwheat. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were all on the same ship.
Yeah, they were all on the same ship when it went down. Yep, borscht and buckwheat. I know it's spelled with the T, and I even just pronounced it with the T, borscht. But actually, the correct pronunciation, you don't say the T. It's borscht. And buckwheat is good to make blini.
Buckwheat is good to make soba.
Well, I mean, yeah, but buckwheat you can make blini, and blini are like little pancakes that you stuff with
I know.
cheese and meat, or sometimes sweet cream and
You trying to explain food to a fat ass, bro.
yeah, blini are a big thing.
Especially during the holiday where you hang out and eat pancakes.
Well, Pancake Week, which is the week after Lent.
Yep.
Of course, if you're not in a Russian Orthodox church, you're an American Orthodox church, they'll probably just bring in a shit ton of donuts. And if you're in a Greek Orthodox church, it's going to be a bunch of Greek pastry. So, but yes, in the Russian Orthodox church, it's blini. And Americans, because when we see blini, we think pancakes, even though they're more like crepes. So in America, we call it Pancake Week. So yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I've cooked borscht before, and the actual like recipe I have for borscht starts with sausage. So, all these people who say borscht is vegetarian, I don't know where they got their recipes from, because actual borscht, you start with sausage, and then you add all the vegetables, and then you add the beets, and it's the beets that turn it red. But it's not just beet soup. There's basically every kind of vegetable you have in your house goes into a borscht. So onion, celery, potato, whatever you got goes into a borscht, and then with the beets. And, so yeah. Just, I mean, who would want to eat soup that's just literally nothing but beets boiled in water? I mean, that sounds like some horrible shit you would have to do under the Soviet Union because you were starving.
Yeah.
But that's not an authentic Imperial Russian recipe for borscht. So I called one of our Republican representatives a traitor to his own people and a scumbag.
I was getting ready to say, what did you call him? But you went ahead and told me.
Yeah, he's on Twitter bragging about them trying to send all that money to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I just told him, I was like, you were elected to stop sending money to everyone on the planet. And the first effing thing you want to do is send billions of dollars, overseas. They're not going to be able to do it, fortunately for us and unfortunately for them, because they just got it through Congress. It probably will not go through Senate. And even if it does go through Senate, Trump can just be like, boom, veto.
Yeah. You know what they could do with that money? They could get
I know what
veterans.
they're going to do with that money. They're going to send it over there. Then they're going to get some of it kicked back.
Yeah. Well, you know how you launder money.
Some of it in the bank, and then use some of it to buy himself Coke.
Yeah. You
But
know
here's
how
what pissed me off. The guy is like, another great victory for democracy. And I posted and said, what democracy? They have no elections. He's made every opposing party illegal. They lead the world in child sex trafficking and just general sex trafficking.
Yeah.
They're the most corrupt country in Europe. So it's like, what are you even talking about? But then we got into a big fight because it turns out he's also a Mormon. And he posted something and it had like a bunch of Christian denominations. And he's like, why isn't Mormon on this? And I posted and said, because you're not Christians.
You know, if you're a politician, you know how you launder money.
Yeah, you give it to them.
Ukraine.
Yeah, he's on the take. Of course, that's what I said. That is exactly what I said in my post. I said, how much money are you getting kicked back? So that Christian men can continue killing themselves so that you can make money on it. I told him, I said, every bit of money you make on this deal is blood money. I hope you know that. But then the Mormon politicians, there was two of them, versus the internet was really funny. Because Twitter was not having it. Twitter was like, I'm sorry, you're not Christian. And they're like, well, we believe everything, like we believe in Jesus. And it's like, you don't accept the Nicene Creed. That is the bare minimum to call yourself a Christian. The bare minimum is you have to accept the Nicene Creed. And then this asshole says, well, Jesus didn't accept it. And it's like, he invented it, you asshole. You know what I mean? It's like, so I just stopped arguing with the guy after a while. I was just like, we're a republic. I know. And it's like, the people who are always talking about democracy, they're the ones you got to watch. And who was it? Socrates or Plato or whichever one of those ancient Greeks would agree with me. Because I remember one of the great philosophers was like, democracy is the fucking worst. I forget which one because
I think it was Plato.
Was it Plato?
I think. I'm not positive.
I think it might have been whoever wrote the Republic. Yeah, and his argument was that democracies always turn into totalitarian dictatorships. And he's right. Stupidity is a self-cleaning oven. Yeah. Well, these guys that claim to be Republican, but constantly want to send money to everyone on the planet but Appalachia, which is like poorer than some third world countries. And it's just like, you people are the worst. Like, I absolutely hated Turtle Tim. I'm glad he's gone. And I wish nothing good for him. What's his name? Hungar might know who I'm talking about. The last representative from Kentucky had no chin.
I know who you're talking about, but
hated that guy. I
can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think it was a Mick name. I think he had a Mick name. Yeah, democracy is just mob rules. And the problem is eventually someone charismatic takes over the mob. And then now you have a charismatic dictator. And then after you've had your charismatic dictator for a minute, it's only a matter of time before he becomes a not charismatic dictator.
Yeah. Well, you heard about, did you see that one politician in what was it? In Kentucky, she's like a defense attorney or something.
No.
And she's a politician in Kentucky who's calling for jihad and anti-American.
She's got to be from Louisville. You know? Nothing good ever comes from Louisville. I would think calling for jihad would immediately make it where you weren't allowed to be a politician.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong about that? I mean,
No.
is she a migrant or is she just a black person?
Probably. I think she's a migrant.
Then she needs to immediately be kicked out of the country, like post haste. Yeah, I pissed him off pretty bad on hopefully Shadow doesn't hear this because he probably wouldn't like it. But when I'm on Twitter, anytime I see any person talking about reparations, I always jump into the thing and say reparations aren't what we need. What we need is repatriation.
Yeah.
And boy, that pisses people off.
There's this one guy on Instant.
Like, I don't think we should pay you anything. I think we should send your asses to Liberia.
There's this one guy.
And that's his cleric right there. That is his cleric right there.
There's this one guy on Instagram.
Hey, we're done talking about politics now.
Yeah, this isn't politics. There's a black dude on Instagram. He always pisses off all the other brothers and sisters because he's like, man, he'll show some crazy video of some Africans like going hog wild and eating like something crazy. And he's like, every day I wake up, I'm like, thank you, slavery, because I'm not in Africa doing that crazy shit.
Yeah, I love it when you run into, I said that earlier before you came on, like some of my favorite people in the world are based black people.
Yes.
It actually gives me hope that the future can be good. The fact that there are a few based black dudes and sisters out there that realize, you know, the way shit is, and that hopefully they'll have kids. I'm hoping the based ones will have and raise their kids right, and they'll become Americans, because these other ones are not Americans. I don't know what the hell they are, but yeah, but Haas is a cleric at the Sagwa. He sure is. And I have questions
about.
And Stephen, I don't think you can help me, but I will gladly, you can have opinions here. What does a cleric of Tasagwa even look like?
Well, mine is like 7 foot tall, very pale skin, and almost white hair.
Yeah, I get that. You're a Hyperborean, but that's not the question. The question is, how do they dress? Like, do they wear a certain color? Does the high priest wear like some kind of special, like headdress? When you go to the church at Tasagwa, like what you do there? Like, do you just sit there and pray, or like, is there other stuff going on? And see, of all of the old gods, Tasagwa is the hardest one to figure out, because in all of the actual lore, typically he just sits on his fat ass and does nothing. So it's kind of like, okay, you worship the god of sitting on his fat ass and doing nothing, right? Whereas if somebody in the game is like, well, I worship, Thaumagoria. Well, that's Aries. We know what's up with that, right? Or I worship Apollo. Okay. Pretty much any other god. Do you see what I'm saying, Haas?
Yeah.
Pretty much any other god in the setting, you can kind of divine what their religious services and everything would be like. But the Sagua is so like unknown, Like Cthulhu, they're probably going to wear some kind of ocean colored things. They might even wear masks that have tentacles. They're going to wear robes. They're going to be into like, maybe some human sacrifice, some whatever, the dreamer of Rely and all that shit, right?
Yeah, and Yog, you know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're eating people. That's their religious ceremony, eating people. Coming out in the next city-state book, that would be interesting. I did see the cover for it at Jeff posted like North Texas Con, and in the post he posted like the cover of the next book, which is the city-state of Comorium. So that would be interesting if he actually added some of that stuff to it. Like a lot of it, like I said, I can already kind of figure out just based on being a Lovecraft fan. A lot of it, I'm like, yeah, you're going to have, a little this, a little that, right? But when you get to Sagua, you don't know anything about him. He's just kind of hanging out, doing his own shit. Yeah, and is yet the most worshipped deity in Hyperborea. Not always, though, Stephen. There was a time, I know you know this, that Yonde was more worshipped. And worshiping Tasagua was considered heresy. And you get ran down and killed for that shit. But then it changed at some point.
Yeah.
Probably after, no, I think in the short story, it changed after Ibon and the Inquisitor of Yonde went to Saturn and never came back. People slowly started worshiping the Sagua. And eventually it became the main cult of, eventually it became the main cult of Hyperborea. But then you've got the Ashen Worm, and that's the one that the Cryomancer worships. And this thing is a giant worm that basically just cruises around on an ice floe, right? And what he does is he shows up wherever powerful cryomancers are, and then he eats them. And then they become part of his consciousness, kind of. And so he looks like a giant maggot, a giant white maggot riding around on an iceberg. And whoever the last wizard he's ate, Yakorth, the last wizard he's ate, and it's got to be a cryomancer, will be his face.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound like a good time to me.
I mean, from a religious point of view, if you're a cryomancer, that's like kind of like your heaven, right?
I guess.
Like it'd be like your deity comes, takes you out, but then you live for all eternity inside of your deity, along with every other person he's ever taken out.
Yeah, and well, anybody who has a deity that is a giant maggot, they're weird anyway.
Well, I mean, that's how he looks, but his whole deal is he can control ice and cold.
Yeah.
And at one point, he actually froze over all of Hyperborea. And so, I mean, his power is not questioned because, yeah, he froze over the entire continent under ice for a very long time. So he's definitely a very powerful deity or whatever the hell he is. And yes, he appears like a giant white maggot. But see, you should listen to the next time you want something good to listen to, right? Go on YouTube and type in Clark Ashton Smith Hyperborean Saga. It's a couple of hours, but it's just stories about Hyperborea. Because he's the one who kind of came up with the Hyperborea you're playing in. And it talks about the ashen worm and how some of the glaciers in the center of the continent might actually kind of have an evil conscience of their own, you know? And just all kinds of various stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's just full of like, there's a lot of, I would call it like fluff material that you might like.
I like fluff.
He talks about the city and different people that live there and pomegranate wine and, you know, thieves. And so in a way, it's very, very much kind of like a Conan book, but it's set in Hyperborea. And so the adventurers are kind of like what you would expect from a Robert E. Howard type of book, but they live in Hyperborea. And everything's weird because that's Hyperborea. That some people could say that's the whole point of Hyperborea, is just to be fucking weird. But one of the stories, which I've told you a billion times, but you should listen to it for yourself, is called The Door to Saturn. And in the story, The Door to Saturn, the Inquisitor of Yonde is trying to hunt down Abon, who is a wizard who worships Tsagwa. And Tsagwa had given Abon this door that if he opened it and went through it, he would go to Saturn. So when they come in to kill him for being a heretic, he jumps through the door, and then the Inquisitor of Yonde jumps after him. And then they have to make an alliance with each other because it turns out Saturn is not an easy place to live. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
And then they travel around and they just get in all kinds of shit. Yeah, the Zothic, whatever cycle is pretty good too, yeah. And which I didn't know this until I did the video, Stephen, that Chateau d'Amberville was literally based on a Clark Ashton Smith story. And the world that the Castle Amber came from is a Clark Ashton Smith world. And how they end up on the D&D world is the family members were worshipers of the great old ones. And they did a ritual that shot their house, you know, to wherever it ended up so that they wouldn't be killed, because like all of the peasants and shit were all getting together wanting to kill these, you know, basically demon worshiping fucktards. And yeah, The Door to Saturn is such a good, I listened to that. I've listened to that so many times. And I'm, you know, my brother, he'll listen to me talk about stuff, but you know, sometimes I just think it's best if he listens to it himself.
I will put it on my list, but now I gotta go get dinner out of the oven, brother.
I figured as much, and you know, I'm probably going to take off too. I've been on between now and Shadow. I've been on like 4 hours.
All right. Well, I love you.
I love you too, my brother.
And Talk to you later.
And when you're laying in bed,
The Door into Saturn.
The Door to Saturn by Clark Ashton Smith.
I'm going to look it up right now.
It, like if you just type that in, it's only like an hour and something story.
Nice.
Right. And that's why I made it into a video of how, and why. Because, see, I think you were the one, Stephen, that actually let me know that was a mythos story, basically. I never even knew that. But, guys, I'll catch you later. It's been a good one.
Peace, love, and chicken grease.
Love you, brother. Catch you later.
Love it.